Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be installing exhaust wrap on our brand new exhaust headers. And I got this exhaust wrap for the temperatures inside, just so I can, because it looks cool too and it keeps the temperatures down, because I'm not going to be getting a new hood, and I don't think I'm going to be cutting anything for the hood so the exhaust can go, or the temperatures can go out when I do autocross and whatnot. I'll teach you guys how you're supposed to install them on this one today, because I got to install some other stuff onto this, and then we'll time lapse the second one. So let's get started. So that you guys can see, I have to fix my camera. So that you can see, I'm missing some head bolts, or actually these are called studs. These are studs. So it's basically a double-sided thread, and these were the bolts that were on the ones that were in here had been rust welded together, so I went ahead to studs and everything. And it was actually really hard to find these, and these aren't the exact OEM ones, but they're the same length and everything, so this should work. Here's our red thread locker, and the reason why I'm using red is because I want to make sure that these studs do not come out when they do so, because then it's going to be really difficult to get whatever bolts are on here out. So I'm going to go ahead and put some red thread locker for the ones that are going in here. So let's open this up. Alright, so a neat trick for getting these in is if you take one of these bolts, and you just put it on here, and you take a second one, you tighten them. We'll do that once they're on here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put some red thread locker. All over the place. So basically you're going to have these two. You're going to tighten them. You don't want to over tighten it, just enough. And then you're going to take this and you're going to go ahead and just tighten the stud in. Twist them off. Shoot. Alright, we're back. Alright, just take that other stud off. Or we'll just take these two apart like that. And our first stud is installed. And then we'll just let that red thread locker do its thing. And we just continue that with each stud. Alright, so now we got our new exhaust header. One thing I knew when buying these is that this hole here and that hole there are actually not cut properly. So if I align this on here and everything, you can see that this hole here is actually slightly off, and so is this one. It's not by a whole lot, but it's still enough to make it wonky. So I'm going to put this on a vise and try to sand some of the edges on here. Not sand, but kind of rat tail them, and just kind of work my way going outward. So yeah, hopefully that works. Oh yeah, you will need gloves too when handling this, because this is a type of fiberglass, if I remember. Type of fabric, and I just read you should wear gloves when dealing with this, so just make sure to wear gloves and don't get this stuff in your eyes. The end likes to come undone a lot, the raveling of the fiber. So we're just going to go ahead and put some tape right on the edge. Alright, so a common way I see people do this is, and this isn't the most efficient, is you take this and you wrap it around here, the converter, or the collector, sorry, the collector. You wrap it roughly around like that, and then you just count how many times. And I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll wrap it here, and then when I get to about here, I'll go ahead and I'll sneak and I'll just wrap this one right here, and then I'll individually wrap these two. So just real quick, you're gonna count 1. You're gonna do like a quarter down, so 1, 2. I forgot my mark. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm just gonna count to like 8. No, I'll count to 10 because I want to have a lot of extra. So we'll go right here. So we got this strip. We'll go back to the table. Or I'll just show you real quick. So we'll go to here and count. So 1 would be here. So it'd be 1, 2, 4. You kind of get the idea, like I lap it every time. I'm not gonna do it like this because, well, you should know I'm like raveling and whatnot. So I'm gonna bring this over the table and do it. Alright, so we got 9 pieces here, and the way I'm going to start this is, I wanted to do 9 pieces first, because if I didn't have enough, I could just finish off these two with this. So what I'm going to do, and how you want to start this, is you're going to fold one side about like that. And the reason why we do this is because this will help lock it. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. There we go. Kind of like that. And then we'll just start this like that. I want to start this as low as possible. And you want to make sure you're pulling on this pretty tight so that when you come around here, this is all tight. Yeah, you see it's just slipping. The start of it, I hear, is always the hardest part. We're just going to wrap this around like that. Oh, almost forgot. And I want to mention too, if you look at this, you can see there's a neatly woven side, and then this top side's a loose side. So you want to make sure that this tightly woven side is facing down. Because when you tighten this, it goes like that. And it's okay if on here it's kind of like loose. I mean, you don't want this to come undone. You just want to make sure like if there's little pockets in here, that's okay. And then each time we go, we're going to do a quarter down, so 1/3 of the way down on here. So because we don't want to overlap this and then go like halfway, because we're not using the maximum distance, and if we do that, the piping in here can get too hot and it'll become brittle. So with that said, wrap it around, and then we're gonna want to go 3/4 down, or 1/4 down, which will be about there. Make sure it's tight. Just keep wrapping around. I can tell right away we are definitely gonna have some extra. And I was trying to figure out up on the top how I wanted to do this. You can see this is just slipping down. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more pass up here, and then I'm going to wrap this part down here and bring it up. And then I have to scoot the behind side down here down, cover it more. And feed this through the top. This is my taped side I mentioned about earlier, and it's not unraveling, so it's a neat tip for keeping this together. I'm going to try to snag this down as much as I can so that I'm not leaving any piping left out. And again, you just do about 1/4 up, make sure it's tight, and you just keep repeating the process. Finish unraveling this. We'll do it to about about there, because that's pretty much to the point where I can't get down anymore. So, just scratched my face with gloves on. That's not good. All right, so we got our new piece here, and I just taped the side just so we can see if we even have enough to do this. Which I hope we do, because we got to do the other side as well. So this is kind of interesting. So I'm not able to get this fully on this side. So I'm probably just going to have to start it like right here. So if we did do that, we would have plenty, absolute, like plenty. I mean, if we did. We'd have that, and then we would just continue wrapping this right here like that. So I mean, that could work. And then this part would come up down here like so. It'd be like that. So I mean, we would have a little bit of pipe sticking out, but I mean, it's not bad. If I just took a lock, put it on right there. I don't know, guys, I think that'd work pretty good. So then we just need piping for this. Well, I want to make sure I got enough on here because I'm going to put the tie right here. So I mean a little bit down here I think is fine. So I'm just going to put that. Hold on. Oh shoot. See, that right there is why you got to make sure you do this right. So just to see real quick, I want to see how much this weighs, and it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks to be about 45, or no, 50. It's about 50 pounds, but if I lift this converter up here a bit, yeah, it's about 50 pounds. I did this just a moment ago and it said 55. So I'm not really sure why. So it's around 50-55 is the range of how much all that weighs with the sensors and whatnot. So now let's get the new exhaust, see what goes on. I'm thinking it's gonna be like 20, if not even that. Alright, this is amazing right here. Look at this. Just a little over 20 pounds. So we're basically saving roughly 20 pounds of weight. We're increasing airflow. It looks cooler. And it's lighter. Win. So, with that said, and that amazing find, for me anyway, we need to take the sensors out of the old exhaust and transfer them to the new one. Our bolt is now through whatever we're going through. You put on a washer, and you put on a lock nut, and then you put on your second one. And what this does is the washer on here helps add it's a flat surface, and it's wider than the actual bolt. So the purpose of this is to get more surface area, so that when you have just the bolt in, there'll be like slight wiggle. There'll be a little wiggle, but if you make something wider and you push it in, you know, your equipment, whatever you're holding, is going to be a lot more sturdy, and it's not going to be so floppy. The purpose of this lock nut right here is the exact reason why it's called a lock nut. This helps lock the nut into place.